So I'm just about to film a few videos for you now. You'll understand now in a second why I'm seeing a few videos, but I am trying to sort, I'm still waiting to move into the new house, and it's not kind of happening at the moment. We're still waiting on electricity and stuff like that to be set up. So I'm living at home with my parents for the time being, because it's actually really close to the new house I'm going to move into, and my makeup is just all over the place. I haven't been able to do any tutorials because I certainly don't have anywhere to film. I'm like just squatting on my own bed here now, and I have nowhere, like even do my own makeup, like I mentioned in the competition videos, is a bit of a pain in the backside. So yeah, doing tutorials is kind of out of the question just for the moment, but I thought I would show a kind of what's in my kit video, because I bought myself some drawers from B&Q, which I'll show you in a sec, for like throwing on my beauty and hair and makeup stuff into. And my kit has been getting heavier and heavier over like recent weeks or months, because I've been doing quite a lot of weddings and kind of throwing stuff into it, but I don't always take stuff out to kind of balance the weight and stuff. So what I'm going to do is pretty much empty it all, and then when my next job comes along, I'm going to just put stuff in that I think will be relevant to that job, so I'm not breaking my back and using more stuff than needs to be done. So just to let you know as well, this idea isn't completely my own. I kind of nicking the idea from my friend Simone, who has a brilliant blog. I'll put a link to that below, and she does really for anyone who's really into makeup and wants to become a professional and loves nosing around other people's collections, she did this series recently where she showed about what's in her kit and what she uses, and I think it's a really good idea. And it's a little bit more useful than just seeing collection videos, because you can see what actually is used in professional kits, and you know, the kind of stuff that would be more useful than others maybe, and that's how you'd have more multi-uses out of for different like skin tones or whatever. So I'll go ahead and show you that. I'm going to show you, like in my kit, it's the Zuka case, which I've shown before, but I'll probably show it again in a second. You know, I have a few of these guys all stacked up, and then, you know, whatever couldn't fit in there, I have other empty bags like this with all my stuff in. So I'll do a video on each of these separate pockets or drawers or whatever you want to call them, and kind of just really talk through quickly what I have in, the stuff I use the most, and I suppose for like most people out there, especially in Ireland, it'd be weddings would be most of your work, or if you're like me, where you know, those little bit of that kind of freelance bit that you do generally is weddings, for me and for most of the girls that I know in Galway as well. So I'll just explain the stuff that would be most useful there. Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you my kit kind of as it is. I haven't touched it since my last job, and that's why I'm kind of going to go at it now, and I'll just show you the drawers I have, but this won't be any kind of proper setup by any means, because you know, it'll be all changed around and done properly when I move house. So yeah, I'll go ahead and show you that. So there's my kit at the moment as it is, pretty much since the last job I've done. So it's just my Zuka case, which I've shown before, so I'm not going to show it again, and I have the rest of my stuff in here, in this kind of backpack that, you know, has a wheel or wheels on the bottom, which is dead handy. And then these are the drawers I got from B&Q, and they're really handy. This one is empty. I have stuff in, like, you know, hair stuff in there, but these were like €18 each, and they'll just come in really handy, like I said, when I do kind of transfer stuff into them, so I can easily look through each drawer, and I'll just label drawers to see what's in them. So the first one of these guys that I pulled out of my kit is the one with like concealers and stuff like that in it, so I might as well just show that first. That's exactly how it was. So I have my Sedona Lace concealer palette. I find this, I use this a lot on myself, but I do find it really handy. Any of these concealer palettes, I just find them dead handy. They'll cover pretty much any skin tone, especially if you don't have a foundation to cover certain skin tones. If they're, some people might be too yellow toned or too dark, or you know, there'll be oftentimes when you have to mix colours or you just won't find something very suitable. So these kind of things are really handy. That obviously was from Sedona Lace. I have my Dermacolor Camouflage palette. You never know when these guys are going to come in handy. Like for instance, I did a wedding there recently, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and the bride and her sister, who was also a bridesmaid, they're super pale, but they both reacted to the sun when we had our tiny wee bit of summer here there, like last month, and they come out in these really bad rashes all over their necks. Well, not really bad, they were just very like red bumpy things all over the necks, which I suppose you would say is pretty bad for this for her wedding. And the bride also had a tattoo that she wanted covered, but none of this was said to me until I was actually there on the job. So like I said, you'll never know what you have to do on those, you know, jobs that may seem straightforward. So, you know, something like this, which is the Dermacolor, it's more waterproof than normal concealers, and you know, you kind of want that on days where you need it to last a long time. So this came in dead handy for that. I have Studio Fix powder in here for some reason. I think it's probably because I've no space in my powders one, but this one is in NC44. I wouldn't use this very often at all. Sometimes for a bit of contouring I'd use those dark ones that I don't get so much use out of. I have my NC15 MAC Full Coverage Foundation. I don't tend to keep too many of these in my kit because I have a load of them in these palettes, which I've showed before, that I made myself. But this is just, I use it more as concealer as well, or on people who are very pale, because this tends to be a bit paler than the NC15s of the liquid foundations. But yeah, so that's that guy. I also have a few stuff in here that really doesn't need to be in here anymore. Like this is Benefit's Some Kind of Gorgeous. My mum had got it for me like yonks ago, and to be honest, I don't get any use out of it. It's meant to be one of those ones that suits all skin tones, but it certainly doesn't. You can see there, it's a very kind of reddy beige colour, and I've only used it maybe once or twice ever, so that'll probably come out of my kit and go into one of the drawers. I have another Studio Fix powder here. This is in N9. Again, wouldn't get a huge amount of use out of that. I mean, obviously it's a locality thing, but most of the people I'd work on in Galway anyhow would be quite pale, or they'd wear fake tans, so it's usually the NC30 that you'd use for that, and this is NC40, which you might get a bit of use out of every now and again. So I have a Vichy Derma Blend you know, concealer thingy in here. This can come in really handy again, like I said, if you have like tattoos or, you know, discoloration or rashes or anything like that to cover up, or even any kind of birthmarks or anything like that. These guys come in really handy, and like I said, these proper camouflage things, really good for you know, fighting against sweat or anything like that on long hot days, so perfect for weddings. If you do need to cover something up. Then I have I think this is, I don't know if it's Screen Face. I don't know, maybe Face 2, I'm not sure. This is a foundation stick in soft cream. Yeah, I'm really not sure where I got this from. I've had it for a while, but it's a lovely foundation stick. It's really creamy and soft. It's called soft cream, but yeah, so that one, again, I'd use that for, I kind of like using these guys for contouring as well, for dry skin when you don't want to use so much powder. Then I have my concealer palettes, which I've showed loads of times before. These hold a lot of like the full coverage foundations and other cream foundations I have. And what else is in there? There's like a Dermacolor Studio Finish concealers, Derma Blend. So these palettes I have in light, so that was that first one, and in dark. So you'll never not be able to cover a skin tone if you have these kind of palettes. You know, like I said, if your liquid concealers or whatever don't have enough range for every single skin tone that you might come across. Maybe a little bit of fluff in that. But this is kind of the same again, where it goes from, like, it has a black from full coverage, and then it has more Vichy Derma Blends, Studio Finish concealers, and loads of the different full covers, like from, say, you know, NC35 or NW35 up to 50 and 60. So those guys, so handy. Again, this one I'd use maybe more for contouring in Ireland. I used to get more use out of it or you'd get more use out of those colours when I was in the UK. So then in this guy here, I have more smaller bits that I just keep loads of these guys together. I hate having things like what's the word I'm looking for, jump around in my kit. I need it all to be quite compact and have it be safe and stuff. So again, I have a Dermacolor Ivory. I really don't know why like, that's another thing. I don't need this in the kit, to be honest, since I have it in one of these guys. So that again is going to come out, but it's so handy. This is something I use so often. It's the Pro Palette Concealer. I used to use this in videos all the time. I still use it a lot. This I use, pretty much, I've used it on every job this year so far. It's really creamy and soft and lovely for under eye concealing because it's not dry. And I got this one from my friend Orla. Her makeup site is olabeauty.ie, I think, or .com. I don't know, I'll leave a link below, but she sells discounted makeup on the shop. It's like an Irish shop, so it might be more useful for people in the UK and Ireland, but love this concealer. And then I have some Bobbi Brown. I have a corrector in peach and in bisque. Now I wish I had light peach and light bisque, but these are still really, really handy for people. It's hard to see the colour there. This is kind of a salmony pink one. And then this is the peach, which is more kind of on the orange side. I'd use this quite a lot, maybe more so than the salmon pink one, but these are really, really handy for anyone who has very dark circles that you need to correct before you kind of conceal. Again, this is a corrector, so this is the Moisture Cover, I don't know what it was called actually, the Coral Corrector and the Yellow Corrector. So of course that'll be really good for redness, and then the Coral will be really good for anyone with really, really dark circles. You know, if you do need to correct, or for anyone with tattoos and stuff that needs a bit of colour correction first. Haven't used it too much. I've used it a little bit, but I kind of forget about it, so it's something I'll try and pull out a bit more. I have a Barber Daily Light Effect Concealer pen, so it's like any of the other ones kind of out at the moment. Don't use them too much, to be honest, on jobs. I have a Select Cover Up in NW50. I got this when I first started out. I've had it for ages, but I've never really used much of it. I have my NW15 as well, so the odd time I'll just use a little bit of this if I need to darken this up, if I don't have one in between. I tend not to like to have all the colours for everything, because that's impossible, so just get the lightest and the darkest, and that's the handiest way of doing it. Then NW20 I'd say is my most used colour of these particular concealers, so it's the Select Cover Up. It's the colour I use on myself, but I find it kind of, you can use it on a few different skin tones that are, say, light to medium. It adapts really well around the eye area, and it has that pinky tone, so it really brightens it up. Really love that. This is one I got, I think, before in training or something like that, but this is the Pro Longwear Concealer in W45. Haven't gotten a chance to use it much. I wish I had more lighter colours. I'm going to get like lighter colours of this because it's a brilliant concealer. Just don't use it if the area you're using it on, especially if it's around the eyes, if it's too dry, because this can be a bit drying after, especially after a few hours of wearing it. I have some Select Moisture Cover Concealers by MAC. This is NW15. Brilliant for very, very pale girls or guys. I use that on my sister a lot. And then this is the NC20. I like this colour. I used to use it on myself a load. So this one is the more the yellow tone, the NC, and this is the more the pink tone, the NW. And then finally I have a Lacura's concealer pen. It's a bit like the Barber Daily one. They're just like, you know, the Touchy Clara or any of them highlighter pens. And then this is a NYX concealer in a jar. It's just a green concealer. I haven't really used it that much, to be honest. I'm not bonkers about the consistency, but it does work in a pinch for covering up red. Yeah, and that's basically all I need all I have in my concealer and cream bases and stuff like that in its little bag at the moment. Some of those bits are going to be coming out. A lot of those bits are going to be coming out actually. And yeah, so I'm going to move on and show you what's in the next tray. See you in the next video.